He who dares wins transfers. So, who are Newcastle being brave enough to chase in this transfer window? Let's find out right here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Oh, brilliant from Share. And now Murphy can take on the shot. Fabian Share
All right, all right, all right. How are you all doing, guys? Good evening to you all. Already see, good to see folks in the chat. God bless you, Aaron. Good to see you. Evening to you all, guys. And to who are joining me here today, no matter where you are in the world, whether it's you're listening on the way to work, about to go to sleep, whatever it is, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me. And guys, as always, I'm super excited about tonight's show. Not only are we going to go through a few scouting reports through players that we've been linked to, but the first thing we are going to do is review the Chelsea game. And I want to get you guys' thoughts on how you think we done. What was your overall feeling about the game? Do you see progress? Especially with the Man United game that's coming up with us, and I'm going to have a special guest tomorrow. I'm going to have a show tomorrow, by the way. And my camera is customarily off, but I'm going to be doing a show tomorrow with a special guest that I will reveal hopefully by tomorrow in the morning. So do look out for that. So have Newcastle through their performances made enough progress? Do let me know, how do you feel about the game itself? So before we get into this kind of looking at the players, let us review the Chelsea game. For me, just to start off with, I've got Aston Villa, Manchester United for some reason. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Yes, you can. All right, all right, all right. Yes, you can. Let's get on it here. For me, and I've watched the game twice now, and the second time, especially about the emotions and everything, I really liked our performance, guys. I really, really, really liked our performance, and I focused on two players mainly, and then around those particular areas. So I focused on Ramsey in the first half on the left hand side, and then I focused on Miley on the right hand side, mainly because I wanted to see how well they played and how different those two sides are, the left hand side and the right hand side are. But I also want to give a lot of praise to and a shout out to. I thought Gordon was absolutely exceptional in his closing down. He really, really set the pace in terms of pressures and everything else. Kind of closing down the keeper, that kind of set the tempo for what we were doing. Bruno Guimaraes is becoming an unsung hero for me anyway, because he's so consistently good. It's ridiculous, and sometimes I don't think I talk about him enough personally to say how well he does. And Tonali, but I focused on obviously, but also our forward line, which we're going to talk about when we look at the XG, when we look at the passing maps later on. Credit to the forward line, as they did in Fulham. They learned from Sunderland. They did it better in Fulham, and did it even better, I think, against Chelsea, which was go forward and what I saw visually anyway, us going forward and us essentially our front line not collapsing in on itself. So, for instance, let me just bring up on this pass map. First of all, look at the attacking momentum. People say game of two halves, and obviously the attacking momentum sort of it does reveal that, really. Obviously, us all over Chelsea in the first half, Chelsea then in the second half. But I don't think Chelsea. I'll have to look at the stats in a moment. First and second half. I think we finished the strongest out of the two. Obviously, they had that 45 to 60 minutes, 65 minutes where they got the two goals, and then we took over. We wrestled back control. in that half as well. So I feel like we had the better first half, but I also feel like we had also we wrestled back control in the second half of the second half, if that makes sense. So this is the front line. This camera. Come on, camera. All right. So this is the front line. I wanted to look at the front line first. So you can see from left to right, Jacob Murphy. Make sure you guys can see that. Yes, you can. Left to right, Jacob Murphy, Nick Woltemade, and Anthony Gordon. All of them with, more obviously Nick Woltemade, which it should be, and Anthony Gordon, which should be, spent at least some amount of time in the penalty box. And also spent a lot of time in the opposition half. You can see from Jacob Murphy, literally the big red blotches that he has here are mainly in Chelsea's half. And we know why that is. Obviously, he's a right-footed right winger, which is not common nowadays. Obviously, everybody wants the left footer to cut in. And that's the difference on the both sides, which obviously where Lewis Miley is and where on the side of where Jacob Ramsey is. Obviously, Gordon loves to cut in. Jacob Murphy loves to stay on the outside and swinging those crosses. And swinging those crosses he's did. But look at again, big heat maps on the opposition half. Mr. Nick Woltemade loves, again, big red blotch in our own half where he was dropping in a lot. But again, another big blotch on the left-hand side next to Anthony Gordon, but as well as in the opposition half. So I'm fairly happy with that in terms of him spending time in the opposition half. But also Anthony Gordon spent time defending, but spent a lot more time in the opposition half, making sure he's running at least beyond Mr. Nick Woltemade and spending time in the opposition half. So a big tick box there in terms of that, which is really, really good. Jacob Murphy, let's look at his stats. Expected assist 0.52, really, really good. He's the one that started to kick things off and what was good to see about the first goal was it came from Jacob Murphy. He went order to Anthony Gordon, who somehow crashed it. It was unfortunate to score. Sanchez made a good save initially. The ball bounced kindly to Nick Woltemade, who made a very, very good finish. But look at this from Mr. Jacob Murphy. Look at this, Mr. Jacob Murphy, right? And this we're talking about big performances, right? So Mr. Jacob Murphy, 39 touches, 1 out of 1 dribbles, which is good to see. We had a lot of dribbles in this half, in this game as well. And we know that typically, which is annoying, we don't have a lot of dribbles. But look at this. Big chances, three big chances created, 3 key passes created. Phenomenal. That's very, very productive from him. Accurate passes, 61%. I'm not so, and 63 passes in the opposition half. I'm not so bothered about that because we know why he did that. He risked the ball a lot in order to make the key passes and the big chances created. So he risked the ball a lot trying to get in behind the opposition, which is fine for me, to be honest. Didn't have to make too many defensive contributions. Made 2 recoveries, 1 out of 4 duels won, which is interesting, and 0 out of 1 aerial battles. He got dribble passed only twice. But in terms of the offensive side of things, very, very, very good from Mr. From Mr. Murphy. Obviously, Mr. Woltemade had an excellent game with 2 goals, expected goals of 1.15, so he's even exceeded that. He had 3 shots, so he scored 2 goals out of 3 shots, which is very good. 2 shots on target as he does. And we know that the one that he missed, which is if you guys remember in that first half where he could have been our 3rd goal when he just went over the bar. Excellent ball again from, I want to say it was from Anthony Gordon, again from that left-hand side, who obviously got an assist in that game as well. And it just went over the bar. And I do believe that if Newcastle had scored that 3rd goal, Chelsea would have been going into the changing rooms that first half thinking about damage limitations rather than it being, when it was 2 goals, them saying, all we need is 1 goal and we can get ourselves back into the game. All right, so 23 touches from Nick Woltemade. 2 of them were goals, so it doesn't matter too much. 62% accurate passes, 33% passing in the opposition half, 86 in the second half. And look at this game as well. When I was overlooking it, watching the second time, It was so fast. Literally, I even look. I give Chelsea credit. I know we started off well, but I give Chelsea credit as well. Like both teams were given like, especially in the second half, like were really like, just going at it. Um, the game was so fast, so fast, like incredible from both teams. I feel like both teams really showed that they're quality teams, in my opinion. Like I've got, uh, I would even say like Chelsea's have added resilience of Reece James and Casado, because even when they're under the cosh, those were the guys. Not less Reece James. I didn't think he had a great first half. Casado a little bit more. Like he was, at least he was making certain key tackles when it counted. Okay, so now moving on to Anthony Gordon, who got 0.95 expected goals, was unlucky not to score. He had a shot saved by Sanchez that went over. He had 2 shots in total. Expected shots on target 0.59. Shots on target there. Big chances missed 2. Yep. Touches 37. Unsuccessful touches 3. He was fouled on 3 occasions. One way he should have got a penalty. Like everybody knows that should have been a penalty. Well, most people know that should have been a penalty. If you think it's still a shoulder barge, shoulder to shoulder, I do recommend whoever, whether a Newcastle fan or not, I do recommend you have a second look at that replay and see that it's Chalobah's leg first went across Anthony Gordon, preventing Gordon from reaching the ball, and then the shoulder. It was like a jiu-jitsu move, right? That's what it was. It was a jiu-jitsu move. 2 out of 5 successful crosses. I don't mind the fact that he had 5 crosses compared to 0 against Sunderland. is improvements. And we did say, even because it was Barnes that in the following game that played against Fulham, Howe needed to make the changes. We did say that I thought that Gordon might play in this game despite Barnes playing against Fulham, because I just thought Gordon driving at the Chelsea would be a big thing, and that's what ended up happening. But 81% accurate passes, really good. 75% accurate passes in opposition half, so 9 out of 12. Again, good. 4 out of 4 in his own half, 100%. You expect that. 100% long ball. I remember that one went over the top to Lewis Hall. That was good play. I enjoyed watching that. Even had time to make 1 out of 2 tackles. Clearances 1. Recoveries good. 3 recoveries. 5 out of 6 ground duels 1. That is absolutely really good. So he worked his socks off, Mr. Gordon. Absolutely phenomenal. So the front line really impressed me. I wanted to have, and I haven't had a chance to do this, I do want to have a look at Jacob Ramsey. I guess the new boys. I say new boys in the sense of to our starting lineup, in this, because I am kind of part thinking for the Man United game. And let me know if you guys would still play Ramsey on the left, or do you think it's time for Joe Linton? Let me know. Aaron says much better performance from the lads. I still have issues with in-game management, but we took more risks in the final third. Oh, excuse me. And Woltemade got some service. First half was very good. He looked faster as well. I think that, well, he did play in the Fulham game like the last, I don't know, 20 minutes, something like that. But it felt like it did in the world of good. Aaron, the changes of Enzo into midfield really gave them the balance. Yeah, he's a wily operator. They needed perhaps with the midfield tiring. Willock could have been introduced earlier to provide energy after their goal. I can see that. For me though, I think Eddie, by holding off, he gave them the opportunity to figure it out themselves. I think that was helpful. I think if he made the change to Willock, there's also on the other side of that, that might have indirectly sent the signal to the players that whoa, we're in trouble, we need to change. By not making changes, I think this is how I see it. I know I fully acknowledge what you're saying, but I think he kind of remained calm, and the team remained calm, because I don't know about you guys. After they scored the second goal, of course they had opportunities and the game could have swung either way. But I just think we wrestled back control after them from them. Aaron, I'd much rather have we attack and take risks and get caught out rather than sit back and in a 4-5-1 block. Gordon had his annual good game against the Big Six. Bruno G should have Adnan. Big up to you. God bless you. Bruno G should come off at half time. Really? You can see he was getting tired and he played the whole game, needed extra energy. That's a big call. That's a big call. But fair enough. If that's what you saw, that's what you saw. I thought he was immense in both half. I just think, again, the game was very quick. Like, it was very, very quick at times. Aaron, the gaps between our defense and midfield, you can build a house in between. The communication needs to be better with the midfield push up. The defense needs to minimize the gap. Yes. Like, you and Alan are both right in terms of the gap. And I saw an analysis from, I saw not analysis, but I saw a screen, like a thumbnail from Coach Miron as well, talking about that. And I keep on saying it, but the game was so fast and it was in the balance. And the press got a little bit more raggedy, I admit. I think so too. But I can still kind of see why Howe didn't make changes straight away. They just needed to figure it out amongst themselves. Both them and Chelsea. It became a game, like I was saying it to Terry on the Football Terrace, where it's like in the match reactions, I was saying, like, it became like, when I don't know if you guys watch boxing or when you've had a martial arts or fights and stuff like that. When both opponents just say, forget defending, we're just gonna just punch each other in the face. We're just gonna fight all out attack. That's what it became at times for both teams. You have to remember, Enzo didn't. He had to make a change in the second half for Enzo, but he was forced to make that change. He didn't make too many changes after that, from what I can remember. And it's a game that really hung in the balance, really. And if Harvey Barnes, if we got that penalty to make it 3-1, it changes. If Harvey Barnes, that incredible ball from Bruno Gomes, who brought it out. I remember, if you guys remember, Harvey Barnes hit it on the other side of the post. I'm a bit more like, I can see why kind of how let it be, to be honest. But I also acknowledge what you guys are saying. Now, Ramsey got an average sofa score rating, sofa score. But I felt that he had a very, very good game. And I think Ramsey and Hall make a world of difference to Mr. Gordon's life. Gordon loves them. So you can see here on the right, Mr. Ramsey, first of all, going from left to right, spent a lot of time in those central areas on the left-hand side. Here, you can see him in the opposition side. But also at times, he did see him going to the right as well, supporting the attacks. Little blotches in the penalty box, which he did spend time a little bit. But here he is supporting Anthony Gordon, making sure Anthony Gordon has enough freedom to be able to go where he needs to go. And his positional sense was really, really good. I noticed, I don't know if you guys remember from the Fulham game, when Jacob Ramsey learned from that first Fulham goal where he didn't mark Lukic. Fabian Schär was on him from that point on. And in terms of making sure that he was aware of what's behind him. And he learned from that game. He went from strength to strength in that game. And even to the point where Schär, I think there was one tackle he made chasing back a Fulham player. Anthony and Schär and both Chow showed their appreciation. And Jacob Ramsey, watching him very closely in this game, was doing that, from the off, in my opinion, was very, very alert to what was going on behind him. Had a good battle with Reece James. It started him matched up to Gusto, and Gusto had enough. Gusto had said no more, and stopped in the Verton, and it just became Reece James who had to handle it. And which I think is credit to how good Jacob Ramsey was playing, in my opinion. But look, 88 accurate passes. Again, all these talk about Jacob Ramsey being, from the guy, for you guys will know, the amount of times we've looked at Mr. Ramsey's passing accuracy. For all this talk about Jacob Ramsey's sloppy passing, I've yet to see the stats bear this out. And even in this game, right? Again, 30 out of 34, 88% accurate passes. Passes in the opposition half, in their half, in Chelsea's half, 87% accuracy passing and 91% accurate in our own half. You know, good control performance, 42 touches of the ball, only one unsuccessful, 1 out of 2 dribbles. He was fouled on 2 occasions. When they say possession lost on 7 occasions, sometimes it's the balls that he takes a risk with. He made at least 1 interception, 8 recoveries. He got the ball back on 8 different occasions. So again, his defensive side very, very good. 3 out of 7 ground duels won. Okay, I feel like it was a little bit more, but fine. And 2 out of 3 aerial duels, very, very good. And he was dribbled past once, and he was fouled. He made 1 foul, and I think that's the one that actually gave it. That 1 foul was the free kick that Mr. Reece James took and scored from. So that actually is a bit like Newcastle's season. Excellent passing from Ramsey, did this, did that, and the one mistake he did was to give away a free kick from which Reece James scored from. And that's a little bit like how Newcastle's games have been, honestly. We're kind of all over Chelsea. One free kick outside the area, it's a goal. One slip from Malik Chow, it's a goal. Like, it's those kind of things. Ramos takes one insanely bad bicycle kick towards the dead end of the game. It goes past 3 players. It's stuff like that. But Lewis Miley, who I really enjoyed playing in that right back role, and I'll go to the chats in a minute. But Lewis Miley in that right back role, I really like watching him. And I watched a coaching, I don't know what they call it, a coaching podcast. And a coach made a line about saying, if good players can play anywhere. Good players can play anywhere. And Lewis Miley is a good player, right? Like, he's a good player. Like, he can play anywhere. Of course, he's a midfielder. Do not get it twisted at all. And I want him as close to the opposition goal as possible. But he's giving Liz the Livramento a run for his money. With how he's playing is insane. His heat map, fantastic. Again, spending as much time in the opposition half as he's spending in his. Obviously, he's very, very comfortable in the middle of the park. But he's defending against Garnacho. Garnacho's had a couple of chances and stuff like that. But his general defending against Garnacho and anyone on that right hand side was really, really good. You can see that through his defensive contribution. 7 defensive contribution, 1 out of 1 tackles made. Interceptions, 3 interceptions. So showing his anticipation, showing his awareness, showing his intelligence. 3 of those interceptions made, 3 clearances made, 9 recoveries. He got the ball back 9 times. It's phenomenal stuff, guys. 2 out of 5 ground duels won. I don't know. I'm sure it's a little bit more than that, but fine. 3 out of 4 aerial duels. He continues to be consistently good in his aerial duels, and he was dribbled past once. Accurate passes, 79%, which is unusual for him. I wonder how I did watch the game, to be honest. That's interesting. 79 passes. Is he being given the license to be a bit more riskier, possibly to get the ball up to Jacob Murphy? Passing in the position half, 68% accuracy. Passing his own half, obviously, is a lot more higher. So because he spent a lot more time in this position half in the right back role, he is being a bit more risky with the ball. The other incredible thing, again, 61 touches of the ball. Again, shows you just how important he is on the ball. I'll be surprised if there's too many other people. In fact, I'll look at it in a moment, who else got the most touches. But it just shows you how important he is. Usually it's Lewis Hall, Bruno Gomes, and somebody else, maybe Tonali. But mainly Gomes and Lewis Hall who have the highest touches of the ball. We'll see. I'll see the stats for that in a moment. But again, it shows just how dependent the team are on him. He made 1 out of 1 dribbles, 0 shots on target, 0 shots blocked, possession lost 10 times. Again, I think it's because he's been a little bit more riskier with the ball. But again, really, really good performance. Before I wrap up the review, I want to, first of all, let me look at who had what touches on the ball. before I go to the chats. And then I want to look at the pass map. So again, overall performance, expected goals for us 2.31. So we were more than worthy of the 2 goals we scored, even heading towards 3 at some point, but 2 goals. Chelsea had 1.22 xG. You can see from us how many of our shots are in the Chelsea's box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 shots in Chelsea's box. They had about probably 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 as well. So we'll see how many there. But both of us being both of us creating lots of good chances. We did say in the match preview they're really good. We had 7 big chances to their 1. Phenomenal, really. They had 13 shots. We had 11. Our goalkeeper had to make 2 saves. Their goalkeeper had to make 3. We had 6 corners to their 4. You can see where just a little bit more concentration of our attacks came from the left-hand side where Gordon is. But then not too far away is where Jacob Murphy is as well. So really, really good from us. 5 out of 5 shots on target to their 4. 6 shots off target to their 5. Shots inside the box, we had 9. They had 10. Outside the box, 2 to their 3. We scored 2 of our big chances and missed 5. Obviously, they said that they scored 1 of their big chances as well. We had 21 touches in their box. They had 26 in ours. Like a really, really, really close game. We had 50%. Both had 50% ground duels won between each other. So it shows you it was a proper fight. We edged it on the aerial duels one. We had I haven't seen this metric before for us. 83% dribbles. 5 out of 6 dribbles made for us, right? Like that is a lot for us. They had 9 out of 15, so they had more attempts on dribbles than us. Like we're not like we don't really get big stats on dribbles. Like this shows you, like we really put the pedal to the metal in this game, in my opinion, as well. So let me just have a quick look at our passing map again to kind of emphasize where we are in terms of how it's important where our average positions are and how it helps us in our patterns of play, which was on display against Chelsea. Share this tab. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. Okay, so Chelsea. Here we go. Passing map. And Chelsea too, by the way. So this is us, but Chelsea too had a very healthy average positions. They set themselves up to attack. You can see in Pedro Neto, Garnacho, the furthest one up there with Palmer and João Pedro taking up those central positions and connecting the midfield with the attack and getting the ball onto the front lines. You can see stronger connections between Palmer, Marco Correa, and Garnacho on the flanks there. But then also, obviously, João Pedro connect a little bit loose, less frequent. He wasn't as involved in the passing as others. Obviously, scored the goal. But the big, I guess, pattern of play, not only in the central areas, Reece James, Fofana, and Caicedo in their passing, but out to the flanks to, who is that? Gusto, Pedro Neto, and obviously Reece James. That's where a lot of their patterns of play came. Cole Palmer wasn't as influential in this game, and I think he's just come back from injury. If he had played 1 or 2 games before this game, he would have been. I think he would have been a little bit more up to the speed. But it was a ferocious speed for him to be. And now, again, as I always say, and if you guys remember, if you can compare this to the Sunderland game, this front line was non-existent. But look how well we've done in pushing ourselves forward here. Really good. Starting off with Gordon from the left in opposition half. Ramsey supporting him. Woltemade higher up. And Jacob Murphy. That's what we want to see. That's the structure that we want to see. And then what you also see, obviously, you see the typical build-up of Ramsdale again with his passing, again, being really, really good. connecting with Shaw and Chow. But again, when you have this sort of structure on, for instance, on the left side, what we're then able to have is our defender, Lewis Hall, fullback here, connecting on at least on 12 different occasions of Ramsey. You see 6 passes each, literally, Ramsey to Hall, Hall to Ramsey, which shows you just how influential Hall is with them. And then Hall with Gordon, 12 passes throughout, 8 passes throughout the game. Gordon to Hall, Hall to Gordon. Again, so really evenly spread out. This is how well they play together. That kind of distribution of passing amongst themselves, that network there, allowed to build itself as well, which is really, really good. And then Tonali to Ramsey connecting really well, at least on 5 different. That's Bruno, 6 out of 6. From Bruno as well, and Bruno Ramsey as well on 5 different occasions, but mainly that whole Ramsey and Gordon connection was really, really good. Getting over to the right hand side with Mr. Bruno Gomes connecting with Miley on 15 different occasions. 6 Bruno to Miley to Bruno on 9 different occasions, Miley and Murphy on 12 occasions, Miley to Murphy at 8 out of 12 of those chances, getting the football forward to Murphy, making sure he's in the positions to take on his man or to swing in them crosses, which allowed Murphy to connect with Woltemade at least on 6 different occasions. Obviously, got Bruno here on 10 different occasions with Murphy as well. And Murphy was able to feed Woltemade at least on 6 different occasions, as was Ramsey, who connected as well, was able to feed. Who did Woltemade? Murphy and Ramsey. Who else did Woltemade connect with? Woltemade and Gordon on 4 different occasions. Woltemade and Bruno Gomes on 6 different occasions. Okay, so our striker had a lot more of the ball as a result, and with the support of everybody else. So you can see the left-hand side is a little bit different to the right-hand side because Hall makes those underlapping runs as well, which are really, really good. Whereas because Gordon likes to come on the inside as well, Murphy prefers to be on the outside, so you can swing those balls and like from the box as well. So which means that Marley and Bruno kind of ensure that they can get the ball to him in those areas as much as possible. But it worked really, really well, and this is probably near to perfect to how I think Howe wants them to play. And it takes that energy, and you can see Tonali just behind them, screening the back line, but also kind of adding his support where needed for against any kind of transitions as well. So really, really good structure, passing, everything. I was really, really impressed. But see what you guys are saying. Aaron says, still though, we have lost more points from winning positions than anyone in the Premier League. Not good enough in that regard. Yeah, look, it's not good. I have a bit more grace to it because I feel like opponents have been getting lucky on occasions as well. This game typified that. Chow has a slip. Reece James scores a worldie of a free kick. It's not like we were cut open essentially. So we should have got a penalty that we didn't get. It's, uh, yeah, it's not good results wise, but I don't think it's a thing where we just collapse and surrender. I don't think that's what's happening. I'm not saying that's what you're saying either, Aaron, but I think the more consistently we perform like that, I think our luck will change, in my opinion. Aaron says Ramsey gives us more balance in our midfield, to be fair. Kept things tidy and neat and had some decent turns with the ball. Absolutely. He's really, really good at kind of receiving the ball, knowing what to do with it. And Miley's really good, obviously, kind of when he gets into the penalty box, making those through balls as well. He's a lot more precise as well, I think, than Livramento a little bit. So it's really interesting to see Miley play compared to Livramento. But of course, we miss Mr. Livramento. So that's the review of the game. I think I predicted 2-1 to Newcastle, finished 2-2. I'm sure somebody predicted 2-2 here as well. And we'll have Man United next, and we're going to be talking about that game tomorrow with our special guest. So, transfers. So, we've got our transfers. Let's talk about our transfers. And as mentioned previously, let me make sure I kind of set the scene. I remember what we've obviously. Let me get back to it here. Here we go. Right. So we've obviously we started last week looking at transfers, and we also obviously we looked at Mr. Metalis from Toulouse, the left back there, and Tarek from Sassuolo, who's a left centre back. We also talked about who Newcastle are looking at, and in the case of Tarek, who's a left centre back, it was, I think it was a Bosnian media outlet who were like, "Hey, Newcastle are putting up 10 million euros for this guy." Like, so they're kind of saying that Newcastle already made an offer. There's another player that we're going to talk about today who's made the offer. I also kind of remember in the background of it all, we did the I did the whole where is it? Where's my matrix? Talking about kind of, this is before the Sunderland game. So kind of talk about the disparity between our starting lineup and our backups as well, and how I use this disparity in minutes between our starting lineup and our starting players to kind of show where the gaps were. And the gaps were, for me anyway, especially where I think the priority for Newcastle will be the left back or left centre back, centre midfield area. Well, I think we're kind of possibly lacking some quality, though Joe Willock is increasingly impressing me. And thirdly, a versatile forward. And speaking of versatile forward, we obviously seen some news today. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Mr. Osula. Let me see if I can find him. Yeah, here we go. Share this tab. Can you guys see that? Oh no, you can't because I got this on. Let's get this up. So Osula, this is a consistent story, really, to be honest. Again, from Plattenberg, who's been following this. This is literally 11 hours ago, but it's pretty much he's been consistently sending this stuff, and that is Eintracht Frankfurt. Let me get this on. Eintracht Frankfurt and Newcastle are continuing negotiations over a loan deal with the purchase option for William Osula. The 22-year-old striker wants to move. Now, how would he know that unless his Osula's agent has said that to him? Wants to move, is in agreement with Eintracht Frankfurt, and is waiting for the clubs to reach an agreement. So I think, obviously, personally, I think this is coming from Osula's agent, possibly adding a little bit more pressure on Newcastle to, kind of get on and make the deal. So which leads me back to the point of saying, I think Newcastle are looking for a versatile forward. There's others, obviously, there'll be kind of secondary options as well for us to improve on, right back or right centre back. That could happen even sooner rather than later. Trippier, Kraft, all kind of being rumoured to be exiting as well. I still find it hard to think that they would, because I think Eddie Howe values those players, but maybe if they got replacements, they're ready to do it. So that still might happen. A goalkeeper, I've got it as a secondary. It's not priority just yet, though. If they can get a goalkeeper who is just as good at ball playing as Ramsdale, but also is even better at shot stopping than Pope, and that goalkeeper's available, whether that's James Trafford, for instance, I think they should hit the button for that, in my opinion. So that's where the gaps were, and obviously that's what we talked about, James Trafford in the goalkeeping department, although not a priority, but still there. Secondary priority. We talked about, obviously, Mr. Tarek here, Muherovic, from the Bosnian heritage player who plays for Sassuolo, the left centre back, ball playing centre back there. We're going to talk about Mr. Arumbro at some point as well, maybe even today, depends. But the young man we're going to talk about first is Allan Andrade, who is predominantly an attacking midfielder. We're going to talk about him today as a potential replacement if Joe Willock is sold in the January transfer window. For instance, obviously lots of rumors around Joe Willock possibly exiting for Crystal Palace. uh, could that be something that happens? And how would you guys feel about that in terms of whether that would be a good move for Joe, whether that would be a good move for Newcastle or not? Um, and who would be the replacement? Obviously, we did the scouting review previously for Magnus Akliush and Lamine Kamara as well, and we said about who would be the person who, if we had to make a choice, who would it be that we would who would we take if we could only take one? And Magnus Akliush. If we saw Joe Willock and got Magnus Akliush, that's a good business, I'd say. Despite uh, despite I think Joe Willock's getting better at improving, in my opinion, in his performances. So I just wanted to kind of highlight this here. Some of the stuff around Crystal Palace being in for him. Crystal Palace are considering a January move. This is from Eurofoot, but I think there's others I reported on it. From Luke Edwards as well. So it's via Luke Edwards. Crystal Palace are considering a January move for Newcastle. Joe Willock reports Luke Edwards. So that's certainly in that move is certainly being talked about and could happen. But I mentioned Mr. Allan Andrade. Who is he? What is he about? And if Joe Willock was to move, could Mr. Andrade be the man to replace him? Let me know if you guys have heard of him as well. He plays for Palmeiras. I've never seen him play. So a lot of the information I have is data driven. And obviously we'll show some highlights. So let me get this on the screen. But if you guys have seen him play, even kind of getting information about how Palmeiras play was a little bit difficult as well. Because obviously I want to get the context of, we like to get the context of where the said players come from. So, and kind of what the style of team that they got. But that was quite difficult to get. But if any of you have watched Palmeiras play and their style of play, do let me know if I've got some of this stuff accurate. All right, so and let me know if any of you have ever had the opportunity of watching Only Fools and Horses. Then you'll get the theme. All right, so Mr. Allan Andrade Elias, he was born on April the 19th, 2004. So he's 21-year-old Brazilian, currently playing for Palmeiras. She's a midfielder there. He is considered a promising talent and has been linked to several English clubs, including Everton and Newcastle United. And we're going to go to those links in a minute because they're, again, just like Tarek, who was linked via a Bosnian media outlet, which is his home nation. There's been a lot more media news about from Brazil about Allan going to Newcastle specifically, almost like some of his, even like the like public bargaining over the deal. And I wonder if that's because of our new global scout that's there as well. So the scouting report on him, just the general scouting report on him. Hold on, let me take this message so you guys can see. All right, so Allan is known for his technical skill and vision, passing ability developed in the Palmeiras youth system. His key attributes include his creativity and vision. We're going to talk about that. He brings energy and creativity in the midfield. His dribbling and ball progression. He excels at moving the ball forward, demonstrated by his high percentage ranking in successful takens, 98th percentile, pretty good at that. Attacking instincts. He's willing to defend and adds balance to his attacking play, making him a very versatile forward. So a guy that likes to progress the football forward, but is also defensively sound, is definitely someone up Mr. Howe's alley for sure. Though he can improve on while composed, adjusting to the faster pace and physicality of European leagues. So there will be that big change. Part of the attraction, of course, is not only that we have our Brazilian boys here in Joe Linton and Bruno Gomes, who I'm sure will help Mr. Andrade settle in at the club really, really well. But also, obviously, we spoke about our global scout. I'm trying to trying to find the information on the gentleman. I know it's Thomas something, who who has been with us, but I'm sure who we've really recently recruited. And we know that, for instance, from him via Ross Wilson, they have both been able to get a load of Brazilian boys over the line at Nottingham Forest. And that could be something that could happen. The other thing for Mr. Andrade is that so far this season, however, so he's kind of breaking into the Palmeiras team. If that's accurate to say, let me just. So, for instance, in this season, in 2025 season, although he's made 28 appearances, I think he has made like four. He's made like I had him down as like making 4 starts. Yeah, so 28 starts. Excuse me. So we'll get into that. And so he's got. Let me just get into that. So 28 appearances so far, 2 goals, 3 assists from 913 minutes. So he's pretty much like a rotational player for Palmeiras. This includes obviously Serie A, which is their Premier League, Libertadores, their cup competitions as well. So overall, he's played about 1,855 minutes, and he's had it kind of spread out that way. So he's kind of just breaking into their team at the moment, and you can see here in terms of his appearances. So I'm ready to get into. I wanted to show the link first, but just to say that he's made 28 appearances with 8 of them being starts, which signals to me that he's just getting into the team. But first of all, let me just back up a little bit and explain. I wanted to show where this information on him is coming from at this time. Bookmarks, the Brazilian newspaper. Where are you? Here we go. So, and it's on their big like media outlets. Like some of them have got like 1.5 million subscribers. So it's serious. Like it's like quite. But what makes me think there's like some of it's like public negotiations over his fee, because they've got like a 90 million pound release clause. So let me just show it with you. So this is in Brazilian, obviously, so I'm going to translate it. Not that I can speak Portuguese, but we've got Google Translate or got X Translate. I don't know. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. So it reads, let me zoom in a little bit more. And this is from, just to add, this is Planeta do Football. How big are they? Back up. 2.6 million followers, right? So now it doesn't mean the more followers you are, the more accurate you are. I'm not necessarily trying to say that, but I think the reason why someone's got 2.6 million followers is that they've probably been fairly accurate. Right. So Planeta do Football. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it says Palmeiras signals to the market that the minimum value to negotiate Allan is 45 million euros. So it's very direct. Essentially, this information is coming from Palmeiras themselves. It has to be coming from Palmeiras themselves. It's not going to come from Newcastle, right? Like Newcastle, I'm going to phone up Planeta do Football and say, "Hey, Palmeiras are signaling this to the market." It doesn't make sense. So they actually say Palmeiras are signaling to the market. This guy's worth 45 million euros, which is roughly what, 35 million pounds. Newcastle shows willingness to pay 30 million euros, which is about, we're looking at 25 million euros. So there's about a 5-10 million gap, right? For the 21-year-old attacking midfielder. But Vidal wants more. I'm assuming Vidal is a sporting director. And then they go to say a source linked to the English club, and the only source that could be is Mr. Thomas. But this is what they say. This is my opinion anyway. A source linked to the English club stated that nobody will pay that amount. So this is what I mean about public negotiations, right? So they've said Palmeiras want 45 million euros. Newcastle are only willing to pay 30 million euros. So there's a 15 million euros disparity there. So anything between 5 to 10 million pounds. And a source linked to the English club, and I believe that's our new global scout, and I keep on saying his name. I've got to get his name in a moment. I had just talked about him in a moment. It's Thomas something. Let me know. I've got him here. But I believe it's him saying, I believe that they're getting this from this. A source linked to the English club, which is Newcastle, state that nobody will pay that amount. That's pretty confident to say that. So it's like public negotiations going on here. Um, uh, but it's on, like it's very much is very much on from Brazilian, at least from the media outlets in Brazil, that hey, this thing is happening. So I've got him here actually. Here we go. So I think it's him. I think it's Thomas, our new global scout. I think it's right at the top here, Thomas Friedrichspiel, who we recently recruited. I think it's him that is. If it is anybody, is going to be him giving this information. Some public negotiation. So let's see. That's that. Let's see how this turns out. But let's see if Mr. Allan Andrade is any good. And we're going to talk about this next man as well, Kevin Danois as well. But let's talk about Allan first. Let me know if you guys have had the opportunity to watch him play live. So, as mentioned, he is a midfielder or attacking midfielder. He can play wing, but he's primarily a midfielder, especially right midfielder. He's so far he is so far played 28 games with 8 starts, 1,800 minutes so far, like across all competitions, but 921 minutes in the Serie A. His role is he predominantly used as a high impact substitute, primarily 20 appearances off the bench. So lets you know that's where he's at, and I think that's where whoever's negotiating for Newcastle is saying we're not paying £45 million for a impact sub. 20 million is enough. So the figure of 4 starts and 18 prints. So that was me trying to figure out where did you get the 4 starts from. So it was 8 starts. He made 8 starts, right? I think it's across all competitions, and the 4 starts probably in the Serie A. So what I done was I took his FB ref stats and I put it into AI to be able to get as much information as to what kind of player he is. But before I did that, I did try to get information on how Palmeiras play. I had it somewhere. Let me take this off because it gives you an idea, first of all, as to why maybe he plays the way he plays. But I did have it in terms of how Palmeiras play. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Maybe I didn't, because I wanted to be able to get a bit of an understanding, first of all, how Palmeiras play. I had it here. I had the breakdown a lot more. I'm a lot more. I had it here. I do know that they're a quick transition team. They had the breakdown. That's so annoying. I had it. I had it. I had that they're a quick transition team, and because I want to be able to get the context of why he plays the way he plays, right? Because the context of the team that they play is always important. I got it for Danois. Let me see if I got it here. No. So let me I'll have to show the whole thing. Let me see if I can. Oh no, that's the wrong one. I won't read the whole of it because it'll take absolutely ages, but I'll try and break it down as much as I can. Yeah, here we go. Because it goes quite technical in terms of how they play and everything, which is important. So Albert Ferreira's Palmeiras analysis of 2025, because I wanted to just get a good general overview. I had it down. So they, at the time, they were second in the league. So in possession, the Portuguese manager has integrated the concept of positional play, which is kind of what Newcastle do in the Brazilian team. No matter whether he plays the back three or a back four, the system in possession will be modified into a 3-1-4-2 shape, which consists of a diamond shape at the back with two high wide wingers, where Mr. Andrade plays as well. Unlike other clubs in South America, the players are positioned in the pitch with good balance, and there are not so many movements to leave their positions. So he goes through the build up there. They do a man-oriented pressing as well. So it's quite man-to-man pressing. They get really, really involved in that. And positional structure. I didn't want to get so technical with it just yet because I just wanted to kind of get. I know they're a quick transition team. You can see that they build up from the back, positional play. Players don't really leave their positions too much. You're going to have a good idea about how he plays, Mr. Andrade, from the right-hand side of the midfield as well. I'm not going to do them justice. But let's get to his stats anyway, and we'll see where we're at. So here we go. Out of possession, without the ball, they press high, really aggressively, and there is a mix of positional structure and man-oriented to play. So not too far from there's a number of teams that kind of play in that mixed way as well. So they're high pressing. Their main system out of possession is a 4-4-2, but it's often tweaked to a 4-1-3-2 or a diamond shape. So you can see how they do it there. So high pressing. So instead of just pressing man to man, their positional structure is there. The defensive midfielders shifted their vertical relationship as well as in possession with wingers to stay narrow. Then they force the opposition to play out wide. However, the base of zonal pressing, the wingers are responsible for the opposition fullbacks, like the other typical South American clubs. Thus, if the opposition fullback steps wide, the winger is willing to drop in to the back line. So quite flexible in their approach as well. But yeah, apologies there. I wanted to get a better summary of how they play. But from what we can see, Mr. Allan is still very much like a rotational player, emerging talent rather than an established talent. So let's have another. Let's get this. Let's get him on the stage, back on the stage, and let's talk about his style of play and everything else. So you guys can see that. So yeah, 28 matches so far, 8 starts. So number one, this is again getting his FP ref stats, getting them onto the AI and breaking it down. So number one, he's an elite progressor. So you can see that his statistical profile is defined by his ability to move the ball forward through individual skill. Really good dribbler. Take on king. So he ranks 99th percentile for successful take on. This is him as a midfielder. His stats are very different as a winger. So as a midfielder, his stats are really, really good. 2.94, nearly 3 dribbles per 90 minutes. He's very effective in 1v1 dribbling. He's a progressive hub. He's got nearly over 3.08 progressive carries. So 98th percentile for carries. So very high in carries and dribbles. Shows that he doesn't dribble in circles. He dribbles the ball into the final third and penalty area. So very, very dangerous. And for a transition team, that's very, very good. Hence, Newcastle United are interested in him as well. He drives the ball into the final third and penalty area at nearly 3.84 touches. So nearly 4 times in every game, via through dribbles and carries, he gets into the penalty area, which is really, really good. He's also a creative engine. He's got high volume creation. He creates around 4 shot creating actions per 90 minutes. So it's offensively very, very good. He often enters the game late. For a player who often enters the game late, so as a substitute, this indicates an immediate ability to impact the game's tempo and create chances. So you can see that, this guy is mainly a substitute, but whenever he does come on, he's making impact. He's making impacts. Efficiency, he's recorded as having 2 goals and 3 assists, which is pretty good. In Serie A from limited starts, his 0.35 assists per 90 put him in the 99th percentile with the limited game time he has, meaning that he is on the pitch. A goal is statistically more likely to occur. Maybe this is what the bargaining chip that Palmeiras is trying to come up with and say, look, this guy is already having great impact at a very small amount of time. Imagine how much more he plays, but that can go either way. Sometimes a play can start and not be effective, right? And this is where maybe some of the negotiations going on with Newcastle. He's also a pressing machine. What separates Allan from traditional luxury wingers or midfielders is his defensive output, which is rare for a creative midfielder. Remember, we talked about Magnus Akliush before. I should have actually compared them. So he's like for me, he's kind of sounding more like a wide creative player at the moment. Elite tackling, he's averaging 2.3 tackles, 8 tackles per 90, which is exceptionally high for an attacking player. Defensive reliability combined with 1.33 blocks and 0.98 interceptions. He fits the mold of a high-intensity modern playmaker who works just as hard off the ball as he does on it. Again, sounds very Eddie Howe-like to me. So tactical profile. Allan Andrade Elias is a vertical, so direct, chaos playmaker. That's an interesting profile in there. His strengths are explosive one-to-one dribbling, high volume chance creations, and elite defensive work rate that allows him to play in high pressing teams. Newcastle United. Current role. His current role is currently a super sub for Palmeiras. He's used to exploit the tired defenses and carries and defensive intensity. Hence why Newcastle are saying 20 million. We'll pay 20 million, 25 million for him. And potential fit, he probably could play for teams in Europe, Bundesliga and Premier League. Hence why Newcastle are very, very much interested in him. So we're going to look at his highlights in a moment. But let me know, guys, in the chat, if you guys have heard of him. Do you think Newcastle should go for him? Would he be a good replacement should Joe Willock go, for instance? Or do you think there'll be others like a Magnus Akliush and others who would be a better fit? Let me know. But meanwhile, let's have a look on the highlights to see how he looks live, essentially. Always love to play on Brazil Scout because they always give good player profiles at the beginning as well, so you guys know how much I love them. Make sure I got the sound off, don't get myself in trouble. Here we go. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. All right, so Allan Elias, I think it's done 2025, so it's a month ago actually. So they've actually got him compared to Phil Foden, Mateus Saul, and Kendrick Priaz. Versatility, time, teamwork, dribbling, ball control. We know he's got really good defensive positions. Cam, CM, right midfield, 5'9", about 70 kg in weight as well. So I feel like he's a slight player. I wouldn't say his physicality is Eddie Howe-like, but certainly his other stats in his work rate, his ability to carry the ball and everything else put him up high up there. So here he is there. Oh, here we go. There's some good dribbling there in tight spaces. Can certainly do that. He's a threat. And that's how he gets himself in the box. Lovely take on there on the right-hand side as well. Gets past his man really, really well. Controls the ball as well. Keeps away from the defense. Again, good awareness, passing the ball to from right to left. Good finish as well. Got himself an assist there. Then picks up the ball. Lovely dribbling. This time on the left-hand side of the midfield. They did say he's left-footed, by the way, as well. Again, on the right-hand side here, good, powerful running. Really good running on the dribble. Is able to change pace, and you can see why he's been a powerful impact sub at the moment. My assumption is that he is breaking into the team currently, and it's probably a matter of time before he becomes a starter there. Again, really good dribbling there, good long ball. Some might feel, and I feel like the Brazilian league is a very tough, very physical league as well. So if he's able to kind of get some of these stats, get really good, literally just knocks the ball past the players there. Um, Plays for the Brazil under 21s as well. Forgot to mention that. So he's got a good international pedigree. He's got a contract that ends in 2029, I think. So that's where Palmeiras have also got some kind of leverage in the bargaining in their when they're bargaining for the player as well. Again, uses his left foot this time from the right position to get it out wide. That's part of the effectiveness he has. Again, good tackling there. Good burst of pace as well. Create separation. Really, really good. Again, you can see where the tackling is getting on as well. So some really good attributes there. You've both seen it from a defensive point of view, but look at that athleticism, good pace, able to ride challenges as well, good tackling again, good awareness to supporting his man over there, some good vision, getting the ball over the line. So certainly promising, but I can't unfortunately give so like a definitive yes, get him, because literally it's been stats and highlights for me. But he seems to be highly recommended by a few there. Big up to you, Dan Flitz. God bless you. Elias circling would be very good for us. Elias circling. Let me know who that is. Circling. Let me know who that is. I'll have a look at him if I get time today. Dan, do let me know who that is. I've never heard of that before. All right. Or is that one of those pranks? I don't know. Oh, less circling would be very good. Less circling would be very good for us. I don't know. I'm confused. Aaron says, I prioritize either Lamine Kamara or Kees Smit. We lack creativity and a good playmaker. I'd be all over Kees Smit and Ryan, who's an output machine. But in that case, maybe Magnus Akliush, if you want creativity and output, or like, do you want some like a central midfielder? But yeah, Ryan's. Because I was going to talk about Ryan today, but I haven't heard him like recently. Stuff I've heard is like 2 months ago, but maybe it's gone quiet for that reason. Maybe there is stuff happening. I don't know. But yeah, like, thanks for letting me know, guys, your views and opinion. Let me know what you mean by less circling, Dan. I might be missing something there. But I do rate Kamara, Kees Smit. It'd be interesting to see if we get those guys over the line as well. Adrian says he wants a creative and a destroyer. Who would be a good fit for that? I'll be interested to know, actually. I'll be really interested to know. All right, so keep Mr. Andrade in your minds as well. But there is another young man that I wanted to talk about who has Aaron says, Akliush, we should have signed instead of Vilanga. People really, please. A few people I feel like have written off Vilanga totally. I hear that. I certainly hear that. I understand where people are coming from on that one, but keeps the ball moving towards the net. Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. Mr. Andrade is certainly a forward-thinking guy, for sure. Thanks for that, Dan. Oh, and folks, do remember to like, share, and subscribe as always. So the other young man I want to talk about, maybe he does fit the creator destroyer profile-ish. I don't know. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Let me get it on the screen. Is this young man? And this is Kevin Danois. Now, I did get information on Auxerre, so get a good context of the team that he plays for. So I feel a little bit more on firmer grounds talking about him, although I haven't got to see him live either, but some good scout reports, as well as good scouting reports on Auxerre in terms of how they play football. So Kevin Danois is a French professional footballer who primarily plays as a central midfielder. Maybe add that to the Kees Smit and who's the other gentleman we mentioned? Kees Smit and somebody else we mentioned. For a League One club Auxerre. He was born in June 28, 2004. He's 21 years old as well, like Andrade. He's a bit taller than Andrade, 183 centimeters, so 6 foot tall, and weighs 72 kg. So far this season, he's played 15 games, scored 1 goal and 1 assist with over 1,200 minutes played. So far, passing accuracy of 88%. So far, Danois joined Auxerre Academy in the summer of 2019. So he would have been like 15, 14 years old from La Gauloise, Guadeloupe. My French pronunciation is awful. He signed his first professional contract in July 2021, so 4 years ago, and made his professional debut for Auxerre in Coupe de France match in January 2023. So he's got 18 months under his belt so far. His League One debut followed in April 2023. He has represented France at various youth international levels, including the under 16s, under 18s, and under 21 teams. So good international pedigree, especially for French teams. So it lets you know that there's probably some good ingredients there for him as well. And in October 2025, Danois extended his contract, that's annoying, with Auxerre until June 2029. So his market value is currently estimated around 10 million euros, so about 5 to 8 million pounds there. You can find more details on the Auxerre website as well. So his valuation is very, very interesting. Now, he also came up on our, just quickly going back to the media stuff. I don't really like how it came up. And I'll explain to you why. Because it's an unusual way for, not unusual. What's the best way of saying it? Let me get onto bookmarks. You'll know what I mean when I show it. So he came up alongside Kees Smit. Let me see if I can find it as, okay, if Newcastle don't get Kees Smit, they'll go for Danois. And I'm like, if you're Danois and you're his agent and you're seeing that, you're thinking, so I'm hoping it's not Newcastle that leaked that. Because if you're Danois and his agent, you're thinking, and people, players aren't silly. Obviously, they'll know that that teams are looking for other clubs, but to make it so kind of public is a bit funny. So Craig Hope, obviously, it's coming from Craig Hope. So he's mentioned that the club is actively working on succession planning, which is interesting for the future, and I'm monitoring some of Europe's top young talents, of which Kees Smit, Kevin Danois, Lamine Camara, and Dejan Matali have all come up. Ross Wilson's focus is clear to bring down the average age. And obviously, we've already talked about Camara, Dejan Matali, Kees Smit, and now we're going to look a bit more closely at, oh no, you can't see it, sorry, Mr. So you got there, Natali, Chris is from Craig Hope, Natali, we looked at Natali, Camara, and Kees Smit, and now we're going to be looking at Kevin Danois. So far, so this is just the stats from so I wanted to first look at Auxerre to kind of give a context about the type of team he's playing for. So why we'll probably see certain stats for him as well, and what his role in this team is, to kind of explain where he's coming from. So Auxerre have a defensive style and a passive pressing. So Auxerre do not look to win the ball back high. Instead, they sit in a disciplined block and wait for the opponent to make a mistake. So don't expect like high pressing PPDA stats for Mr. Danois. You can see there 15.1 PPDA at the moment, so very low intensity there, very passive. Their start distance is 43.5 meters, so they're relatively, if you compare them to the previous, to Monaco, for instance, who were at 48, so they're higher up the pitch. Chelsea, 46. We're somewhere in between that as well. So the team he plays for are playing over a deep block, essentially. The average possession is 41.5%, so they're reactive and they're comfortable without the ball. So you're going to see a lot more off the ball stats for Mr. Danois than probably on the ball. But the flashes of on the ball are pretty good. So despite having low possession, they are surprisingly productive. They don't build attacks; they explode into them. So meaning that they're very, very direct in their attack. So Auxerre have passes per sequence, just about 3 passes. So ultra direct. So once they get the ball, they try to get their players break forward. They move the ball to the goal in a very, very few passes. They're not looking to do no side-to-side passing. They're not doing that. Sequence time 8.64 seconds as well, so really quick. Their attacks are fast and vertical. Expected goals currently at 23.33. So strong chance creation for a team with 41 possessions. So then, which is it's been without once they get on the ball, they've been pretty successful at creating chances, and they've scored 26 goals. So they're even overperforming. So they've been very, very efficient. They're scoring more than their chances suggest. They have a low block, they have a leaky block. So this is Auxerre's biggest issue. While they protect the box reasonably well, they're conceding far more goals than they should. So I'll be wondering if that's a midfield problem of where Danois plays. So expected goals against is 20.30. They've conceded 26. So so teams seem to be overperforming compared to the chances that they're creating at the moment against them, which is a similar problem that Newcastle have. Teams have about 60% of shots in the box are in Auxerre's box, so they actually protect the box better than Newcastle. Auxerre are better at protecting the box than Newcastle, and Fulham as well. So that's interesting as well. So perhaps teams are scoring a lot of wonder goals against Auxerre at the moment as well. All right, so Auxerre, you can describe them as a direct counterpuncher that is currently being let down by its own defense. So they're very direct. We talked about it. Though defensively, their deep block is also working in terms of positioning. So they keep opponents away from the box better than most. However, they've been obviously teams have been overperforming regardless of this. So maybe it's a shot stopping error or goalkeeping error. I don't know closely enough. This is like from the data essentially. But on the other end of the pitch, they've been very, very clinical through their striker, Lassine Signako, whom Mr. Kevin Danois plays alongside. So in summary, Auxerre plays a high-risk, low-possession game. They are effective at moving the ball forward quickly, but their inability to keep the ball out of the net despite a solid defensive structure is what's holding them back in progressing up the table. So that's Auxerre, and that's the environment and that's the context of which they're playing, of which Mr. Kevin Danois is playing at the moment. So he is there. So what is his role? He is their ball carrying engine, Mr. Kevin Danois. He's their ball carrying engine, very much similar to what we saw from Mr. Andrade. Aaron says that his Danois too raw, in my opinion, needs a lot of refinement. So when Auxerre do break, it is Mr. Danois who's responsible for that. So his progressive carries, he ranks #1 in the squad. So he's the best player at this, which is a good start. He's the best player in the squad in terms of progressive carries, with 62 progressive carries. This means when Auxerre win the ball back in the deep block, Danois is the one who drives the ball forward 10 yards plus to bypass the opponent's midfield, which is, again, a really good ingredient of the type of players that Eddie Howe likes. He's got good take-on efficiency, so he maintains a 68.2% successful dribble rate. That's pretty good. So nearly 7 out of 10 times he's going to get past his man in a team that sees very little of the ball. And this is the type of ingredients that you want to be able to see, like in those kind of quite difficult environments where you don't have the ball, but when you do get it, you're pretty good with it. So this efficiency is vital because imagine what it would be like in a team that's got a little bit more possession. Vital because transition leads to a counter-attack. So he's very important in kind of leading on those counter-attacks. He's also their creative locksmith. So while Lassine Signako, their striker, is the primary finisher, Danois is the architect. So chances create, he leads or is near the top of the squad with 26 chances created. So if you're looking for a creative midfielder, Mr. Danois is the guy, and he's doing it for a team that has, like I said, very low. I have to emphasize that they have very low possession. They stay in deep blocks. Yet this guy is their creative engine, their creative hub. The responsibility is on him to carry the ball forward, to get past his man, and to be able to release the ball to create chances for others. And he's been doing that very well so far this season. Final third entry, he has recorded 130 successful passes into the final third so far this season. That's six as well. That's pretty good. In Auxerre's system, there is often a killer where there are often killer balls played into the spaces of wingers during fast breaks. He's also set piece specialist. He's Auxerre's primary set piece taker. We need set piece takers, which is a massive asset for a team that relies on limited opportunities to score. Defensive grit in deep block. Because of where Auxerre plays with a high PPTA, meaning they are passive, Danois spends a lot of time defending. His defensive stats are elite for a creative midfielder. So I think as Adrian was talking about a creative destroyer, I don't know if he's quite a destroyer, but he's certainly got the ingredients to be at least have a defensive mind. His ball regains. He has 150. He has regained 151 balls, showing he's consistent. He's constantly active in the defensive phases. Interceptions. He ranks 17th among all midfielders in the league. Amongst all the midfielders in the league, he's ranked 17th for total interceptions, and that shows really good anticipation and game intelligence. And this fits perfectly for Auxerre's style of sitting in intercepting rather than pressing and tackling. That's pretty good. This is sounding quite positive for me that at 21 years of age, he's already producing these type of stats. To me, so far, again, without seeing him play, he's probably a little bit more promising than Andrade is, in my opinion. So let me know, guys, what you think. And Aaron, thanks for sending in. Says Danois is too raw, in my opinion, needs a lot of refinement. Let me know if I haven't seen him play, so I'll be really good to hear from what you think from seeing him play as well. But let's have a look at him. He's for more at least this season to me. He comes across as like really. He comes across as really. He's quite impressive. Again, for a team that has minimal possession, is passive in its kind of defensive structure. He has the responsibility on top of not just defending, but also creating, carrying the ball, dribbling past players, and feeding the wingers and the strikers. That's pretty impressive, like for a 21-year-old, in my opinion. So let's see how it goes in the FB. Just to say, excuse me, in the FB ref stats, he does fit closely to Sandro Tonali in the FB ref stats as well, which is really interesting to see that they've compared him to him. So let me know what you guys think of him. So he's 6 foot tall, by the way, as well. Central midfield, we see here in the defensive structure, getting the ball back, ball recoveries, has enough awareness to get the ball back again. Good strength there, gets the ball back again there, highlighting his ability in defensive, the ball, and carries the ball forward, releases his man. That's where the stats come from. Is those type of actions there? You see him carrying the ball. Look at that lovely through ball again. So not only is he's having to get the ball back, but he's having to show and scoring as well. But he's also getting into the opposition half and showing his ability to not only to that's a finish. Beautiful finish there. There he is again, recovering the ball in the central midfield areas, carrying it forward, getting it forward there again. Again, responsible for the creative outlet for Auxerre as well. Again, cuts out the ball. This time on the flanks, holds it up, shows awareness, looks around him. Can you see the pass? Simple pass, get it forward. Some interesting stats there. Plays very central for them as well. Again, holds the ball up, gets into their feet, gets it there 1-to-1, carrying it into the next phase. Every manager loves to see that. Good play from him there. Again, wins the ball, releases the man as well. Good work there. There's some potential in the boy. 21 years old, fully fledged, not quite yet, but he's got a really good international pedigree. Again, feeds his man. Decent hold-up play. Again, showing creativity. Lovely through ball to his man there. Again, showing his ability to tackle, get back, carry the ball forward, break forward into the next phase, make the pass, continue running, then gets himself in the position box, creates another opportunity, cuts out, and this is why he leads the interceptions or as well. Very, very good, showing anticipation, awareness, intelligence, getting past his man, good dribbling, shooting, scoring. Hey, let me see this one. Move on. He's promising guy again. From what his stats read, from what the scouting reports are saying, he seems to be it seems to be quite interesting to look at in terms of why Newcastle are looking at him. I'm not surprised. So, guys, let me know from what you've seen so far. Who's impressed you the most? Has it been Kevin Danois? Has it been Andrade? Let me know your thoughts. I'm certainly intrigued at how Newcastle plan to move forward. Plan to move forward in terms of their transfers, but I like the look of some of our some of the players that we've been linked to. So, guys, Kevin Danois, Allan Andrade, let me know your thoughts. There was one player I wanted to look at before I conclude, but I didn't get a chance to. I didn't get the chance uh, to look at his stats or to get his scouting report. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to kind of talk about him in too much detail. But we'll come to the conclusion part of the show. We looked at we did the game review for the Chelsea game. Again, I thought we played really, really well. Wobojo, good to see you. What were we discussing? We looked at Kevin Danois. I don't know if you're familiar with Kevin Danois. In terms of doing a scouting report for Kevin Danois and for Allan. Where is he? Kevin Danois. So this is Andrade. We looked at Allan Andrade, who's the right midfielder there. And we looked at Kevin Danois, who plays for Auxerre. Where is he as well? No, you don't know them. No, but quite promising players as well. So I was quite interested in them. But that's where we looked at the players before we concluded the show. But some interesting talents there. I wouldn't be upset if we got them, though I do think Joe Willock, who has been, I'm probably more erring to the side of keeping Joe Willock at least until the summer, because he is showing an upturn in form. But if he is to move on, well, I think Newcastle are looking at some interesting replacements for him, though I think I'm kind of still erring on the side of caution, unless, of course, we get a player of the caliber of a Magnus Akliouche or maybe even Conor Gallagher, for instance. But those type of players at the moment, I'm still kind of erring on the side of keeping them. Wobberjog says, heard Kees Smit thinks multiple EPL clubs are looking at him. If not, I'm wrong. No, you're not wrong at all, Wobberjog. His agent has been doing his utmost to tell everybody about how much Newcastle are looking at him. That team is looking at him. This team is looking at him. Literally, we had a couple of weeks ago reports from Craig Hope and others saying that Newcastle are talking to him, and for the right price, they'll sell him. And then literally, we were saying that the feeling here was that Newcastle kind of being used like a stalking horse to kind of galvanize to get competition going and to get him to kind of get the money up. I wasn't totally convinced that Kees Smit is necessarily wants to go to Newcastle. I think Newcastle probably interested in him, but I didn't get the feeling. We didn't get the feeling that Kees Smit is that serious a target because it was just so publicized. While I'm on him, let me just quickly look at his stats compared to the guys that we looked at. I was going to wrap up the show, but I thought, let me just, now that we're talking about him, but have you watched him? I've seen only one second half performance of Kees Smit. Um, I don't know if you've seen him play Wilbur or anybody else, but Kees Smit so far this season, he's played 15 games. Overall, about just over 1,600 minutes. I think includes the Europe as well. Conference League, yeah. So he's played 5 games in the Conference League with 2 assists. He played 15 games in Eredivisie so far with 2 goals and 2 assists, so not too bad at all. He's been compared to, obviously he's a midfielder, but he's been compared to, who do I know here? Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough, who I hear a lot of good things about, but that's the main player really. Otherwise, impressive kind of overall progress stats, especially around passing and take-ons. Again, within the context of the Eredivisie, 91 percentile for touches, 92 percentile for carries and passes completions are pretty good, 81% for there. So he's kind of more in that sort of mode of a player who dictates the play through his passing as well. From what I can see, 88 percentile for shots total. The passes completed, short passes a little bit, 84 percentile, medium pass 64 percentile. So he wants to get the ball moving. 91 percentile for key passes, 79 percentile for final third passes, passing into the penalty area, 94 percentile. That's pretty impressive as well. Shot creating actions, 96 percentile. Live ball actions, 99 percentile. So some impressive stats. Tackles, 90 percentile. So very, not too dissimilar to some of the guys that we're looking at, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if how serious he is about moving, to be honest. Well, I didn't watch him, but read scout reports on him. They rate him, to be honest. They do. They have a really, really high opinion of him. Newcastle are said to be interested, though again, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that this is an agent-driven and Newcastle are kind of being used as a stalking horse. Wobbeldrug says there's a scout. His name is Ben Martinson. I personally rate his opinion and reports on youth players, especially under 18s. Is that who talked about Kees Smit, Ben Martinson? Let me start this. I'll look him up. In fact, let me get it on my Google search. So I'll look him up. Ben Martinson. Ben Martinson, scout report. Oh, okay. Let me add myself to his. I'm already following him actually. Okay, cool. I'm already following him. Okay, I'll make sure that I look at him and follow him more closely now that you've said that, Wobojog. All right, folks. So we've had a fantastic show. People are just coming in now as I'm closing up. Big up to you, Villa fan. Great win by the way, Villa fan, against Man United. I predicted before you scored the goals that you're probably going to score some high quality or some wonder goals, which you inevitably did. But really good performances as well. But guys, don't be sorry at all, man. It's good to see you anyway. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Merry Christmas to you. Guys, we reviewed the Chelsea game. I was really impressed by the performance. Obviously disappointed with the result. I thought we deserved to win the game, and obviously some poor refereeing decisions as well. But I think if we take that performance, and I think we will, into Man United game, and we're going to preview the Man United game tomorrow with our special guest, I'll reveal soon very well. And so looking forward to that. I think if we take that performance against Manchester United at Old Trafford, I think we'll have better luck again, a better result. But we also reviewed some young, promising talent in Kevin Danois and in Mr. Allan Andrade from Brazil. But it remains to be seen. With both links to Newcastle as well. But it remains to be seen who Newcastle go for. But you guys have been absolutely fantastic as always, adding your views, adding your context, and as well as just liking, sharing, subscribing as you always do. So this won't be the last time this year I see you, because we're going to see each other again tomorrow. Let me see if we're going to see each other again before the new year. I was going to say, no, we will. But if we're not going to, if you guys aren't here tomorrow, Merry Christmas to you now. And I mean it in a very, very Christian sense, as I am a Christian. So God bless you guys. Make sure you look after each other. And as always, God bless you guys. Take care.